We all know that the Hellcat was an all-around better fighter than the Wildcat. It was faster, tougher, and longer ranged. It outclassed the Wildcat in every way that mattered. But just how much better was it? And more importantly, what would the war have looked like if the Hellcat never entered service? Let's break it down, with the numbers, the battles, and the consequences. The Hellcat was a response to the lessons of 1942. It was designed not just to survive, but also to dominate the Zero, and it delivered across the board. The Hellcat's top speed was approximately 15% greater, allowing it to dictate engagement terms against most Japanese aircraft. Climb rate improved by nearly 50%, enabling faster interception and greater altitude flexibility during combat air patrols. Operational radius extended significantly, up to 1,000 miles with external tanks, giving it true escort and strike support capabilities. With 650 caliber machine guns versus the Wildcat's 4, Hellcats had greater sustained firepower and better lethality in deflection shooting. At most combat speeds, the Hellcat had superior roll and turn rates, especially in diving engagements. Now let's say the Hellcat wasn't ready in time for 1944 and 1945. Same pilots, same radar direction, and same doctrine. But what if U.S. Navy pilots flew the Wildcats into the major carrier battles late in the war? How does that change things? During the Battle of the Philippine Sea, Hellcats crushed the incoming Japanese airwaves with over 240 aircraft downed in a single day. American losses were minimal, and the fleet was untouched. The Mariana Campaign went forward without delay. Now let's put Wildcats in that same role. This means we lose speed, climb, range, and firepower. Wildcats would need to intercept later, hit weaker, and more bombers would get through. Estimated kills may drop to fewer than 180 instead of 240. Some Japanese aircrafts might reach the U.S. carriers, delivering some damaging hits. More importantly, the afternoon retaliatory strike might not take place because it required a round trip of nearly 275 miles. Hellcats could just manage it with drop tanks, but Wildcats couldn't. USS Albacore and USS Kavala might still sink two Japanese fleet carriers, but Hio would survive. During the Formosa air battle, Hellcats flew hundreds of sorties over several days, effectively depleting the Japanese air reserves. U.S. carriers were able to operate freely, and aerial attrition fell disproportionately to the enemy. But with Wildcats in the same role, sortie fatigue would rise, and interception windows would tighten. Some Japanese aircraft might penetrate U.S. screens, causing more damages, like what happened to the light cruiser USS Houston. Strike packages would require heavier escort ratios, reducing the proportion of bombers. The Hellcat's final proving ground came during the Okinawa campaign, under the strain of sustained kamikaze attacks. With its capabilities, the U.S. Navy lost 26 ships and saw over 220 damaged, a number already reflective of the near-overloaded defensive grid. And with Wildcats replacing Hellcats, the outcome would worsen. Slower climb rates and shorter endurance would reduce combat air patrol effectiveness. Radar picket destroyers already absorbing the brunt of kamikaze waves would be even more overwhelmed. Additional support vessels likely would have been sunk. In this scenario, estimates may rise to 30 to 35 ships lost and up to 250 damaged, a significant increase in fleet degradation. Strategically, the U.S. would still win the campaign, but the cost in tonnage, sailors, and operational tempo would be significantly higher. The Hellcat didn't just improve on the performance of the Wildcat, it expanded the operational doctrine of the U.S. Navy. Extended range would enable Hellcats to escort beyond the launch point and close the vulnerability gap. Its durability meant less losses per sortie and allowed experienced pilots to stay in the rotation longer. Its firepower, speed, and climb rate allowed proactive engagement well before Japanese strike elements reached the fleet. This shifted the U.S. Navy from a defensive posture to sustained, reliable air dominance. With Hellcats, carrier task forces could push deeper, operate longer, and engage on favorable terms. The Wildcat, to its credit, held the line when the Navy had no better alternatives during critical early years of the war. But it was the Hellcat that enabled decisive victory. Had the Hellcat not entered service, the war's outcome would remain unchanged, but the timeline and the human cost would look very different. Thank you for watching, and please support my work by purchasing my ebooks. You can find the links in my bio description or by searching for Adrian Langsford on Amazon.